crafters, and welcome back to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. My name is Deepa from Designs by D, and today you're joining us on the Meraki Anniversary Celebration Hop, so welcome. I'm going to be sharing this mixed media card with you in keeping with this week's theme, and we're just going to be using a whole bunch of alcohol inks to create this beautiful layered lily and gorgeous background card. So these are all the products that I'm going to be using. I do have everything, including the colors of alcohol ink used, in the description below, so you can always take a look at that. In terms of the hop, be sure to look at the instructions in the description in order to be entered to win. Crafty Meraki is giving away a $100 gift certificate to one lucky winner. So as you can see, I've got all of my alcohol inks. I've got a blower, I've got my Yupo paper, and I've got the Crafty Meraki Artisan Flora dies. This one is the lily, and I like how these dies are put together. So essentially, I've taken off each of those dies, and each die has the components for one flower or one piece. So everything you're cutting from that one die is going to come together to create one layered piece for your project. So it's kind of easier to remember what goes with what. And also along with that set, you can see there is the layering guide. So I'm just going to grab my Yupo paper, which is just plain white cardstock. So it's the white cardstock Yupo paper, and I'm going to cut all of these out. So now that I've got them all cut, I'm just going to separate them. I'm keeping them together based on that die, so I know which pieces get layered together. And as I do this, I'm also going to layer them together off camera to just kind of get an idea of which piece is going to need more of the look that I want. So what's going to be in the background, what's going to be in the forefront, and all of that. So I do have a picture there on my phone, which I'm kind of using to get together the colors that I'm going to use. I've got some greens and yellows for the centers, some pinks for the leaves or for the petals, and I've also got some brown, and I'm using the intense alcohol pearl color in order to create those little dots, those brown dots, the extra detail that you find on these flowers. Now, it's not going to be as obvious as if, say, you were coloring them or doing some ink blending and then adding detail. It's going to be a little bit more haphazard, and that all goes with the feel of mixed media. So this one portion that this one layer die cut that I'm adding the pink to here, I'm just basically going to cover this in pink to just kind of get the color flowing. I'm doing nothing in particular because this die cut piece is actually going to be the back, so it's going to be covered for the most part. Now for those three other die cut pieces, these are going to show through a little bit more in the layering. So I'm basically creating just a layer of pink there at first. I really just want to get that pink on there. I'm trying to kind of add the lighter pink along the length of the petals, and then I've got a darker pinkish purple that I'm putting in the center to kind of darken the center. And if you look at the picture of the flower, that's kind of what it looks like. Now I'm adding a bit of detail with a paintbrush. So I'm just taking my mixing solution. So you can use mixing solution or isopropyl alcohol like I am. This is about 90%. You can use something between 90 to 98%, and do remember to ventilate your room because it does smell and you don't want to get those fumes in you. So I added, I kind of just went along with that mixing solution on the petals to create kind of a striated look. It's kind of hard to see, but trust me, all of this extra detail kind of comes together to just make it look really nice in the end. Now I'm grabbing some of that intense alcohol pearl and I'm kind of dabbing this on using the paintbrush. Now as I dab this on, it's going to cause the other alcohol ink to kind of spread a little bit, and that's what's going to create those little brown dots on the lily. Now I've got some snow cap alcohol ink, and I'm just kind of adding it along the edges. So if you remember that picture of the lily, the edges are a bit more white. They're basically white, and then the center is pink. So I'm adding that on there to kind of create that effect. Now remember, this is mixed media, so you're not going to get it to look exactly like your picture. You want an artistic feel to this, and you want this to have that artistic mixed media feel, and that's why it looks a little bit more messy. And I feel like messy artistic is exactly the same thing. So now that I've kind of got those petals done, you can see they have a lot more texture and they look a lot more different than that first layer that I had done. That's just basically all pink. Now I'm doing the same thing to the last three pieces. The three pieces at the bottom, you'll see that that's the other part of the lily. It's a different flower and it's more closed. So I'm not going to put as much of those brown dots on there with the alcohol pearl intense color. Now, these are the little stamens and they go in the center of the flower. So I'm using like a lighter green here. As I said, all of the colors are listed in the description below, so you can get a hold of those if you did want to recreate this. And you can see they kind of go all over the place when I use my blower, so I'm using my tweezers to kind of just hold them down. Now, for the actual, I always forget the anthers, that's what they're called, the little brown bits at the top of the stamen. I'm using some more of that intense, which is basically a brown alcohol ink, to kind of put that on there to kind of get the colors right. And then for the rest of that stem and then the leaves, I'm going to go with a greeny blue color because I want it to be green, but I want it to have more of a deeper color, and I don't have a darker green that's not too vibrant. So I'm mixing some stream alcohol ink with that same green alcohol ink to get a mix of colors in there. And I find that when you use a mix of colors like this, it just gives your die cuts like a bit more depth, and that variation of color makes it look a bit more realistic. It's not going to look too realistic considering this is mixed media, but you get what I'm going for in the end. So you can see I've added the lighter green here. I think this is citron. And then I'm going to add some of that stream, which looks like a blob right now. But once I blow it out, look how gorgeous that color ends up looking on those leaves. So now that that's done, I'll go ahead and do the last bit, which are these buds. So for this one, I'm sticking with more of the citron color. I want more of like a pale green here, more of like a muted, like yellowy green, right? So I find, again, by having the different components, different colors too, it also